Prime Minister Stephen Harper arrives in the Chinese capital Beijing for next week's APEC summit. Rival claims are now being made by U.S. Navy SEALs as to who actually executed al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. And Germany gears up to celebrate the fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the Cold War 25 years ago. Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Marielle Torre-Franca coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. Prime Minister Stephen Harper is in Beijing today drumming up more business for Canadian companies. This is Harper's first visit to China since President Xi Jinping took office 2 years ago. Harper will join other world leaders at the APEC meetings next week. The Prime Minister will focus his priorities on increasing trade and improving bilateral relations on world issues. A former U.S. Navy SEAL who says he shot Osama bin Laden is telling the world his story. Robert ONeill says he's gone public because he feared his identity would be leaked. That is how the film Zero Dark 30 visualized the events that happened 3 years ago. ONeill told Esquire magazine in 2012 that he shot bin Laden twice in the forehead, but he wasn't identified in the article. He's not the first person to tell the story. Retired Navy SEAL Matt Bissonnette wrote a book in 2012 that tells his side of the mission. However, he never identified the shooter in his book. The U.S. Defense Department has not yet confirmed who fired the historic shots. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that U.S. President Barack Obama sent a secret letter to Iran's supreme leader. The letter is said to describe their shared interest in the fight against the militant group ISIS.
Good afternoon, everybody.
It's reported to say any cooperation between the two countries would hinge on reaching an agreement over Iran's nuclear program. The White House hasn't confirmed the existence of the letter. A significant anniversary takes place this weekend in Germany. It's the 25th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. The wall separated East and West Germany and became the symbol of the divide between the West and the communist bloc. At least 171 people were killed trying to get over, under, or around the wall to escape to the West. Today, the wall is lit up by thousands of balloons to mark the anniversary. Germans can walk around the former wall, which is now used for movie screenings, information panels, and a memorial for those who died trying to escape. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the outbreak of the First World War, and Britain will commemorate Remembrance Day on Sunday. The so-called Great War dragged powerful countries into a bloody conflict and turned Europe into a battlefield. Often called the war to end all wars, it left more than 16 million dead and changed the nature of warfare. Remembrance Day honors soldiers who fought in conflicts from the beginning of the First World War until the present day. Tens of thousands are expected to join the Queen in a 2-minute silence in London on Remembrance Sunday. Here at home, Canadians show their support by wearing poppies for Remembrance Day, and this year has seen one of the highest demands for the symbolic pin. Our reporter Travis Pereira has more.
Remembrance Day will hold a special place in the hearts of Canadians this year. There's been a noticeable increase in the sales of the symbolic red flower with the black pin. Audrey Kennett is the chairman of the Poppy Fund for the Sir Winston Spencer Churchill branch of the Royal Canadian Legion in South Etobicoke. She's been with the Legion for over 40 years and says although it's always busy at this time, this year the boxes are going out as soon as they come in.
The poppies are all going. And they are going here pretty, well, we haven't got much left on the poppies. We always have poppies left over. Always, but we're not going to this year.
Humber is preparing for its annual Remembrance Day ceremony. An events coordinator at Lakeshore Campus, Tom Haxel, says this year there will be a special tribute by Humber professor Austin Cambin.
I think Austin's speech, from what I've seen of it, definitely makes references to the price of freedom, and that's kind of the theme that he's talking about this year. As well, we've reached out to a local reservist here, invited them to the ceremony.
Lakeshore Campus falls within the region that Branch 3 delivers poppies to, and when asked about the poppy traffic on campus, Haxel says,
We've definitely had a lot of requests for additional poppies, and I've spoken to the different legions who take care of the poppies, and I know they're very busy this year.
In a year where we've seen multiple fatal attacks of Canadian soldiers on Canadian soil, there couldn't be a better time for Canadians to show their support for the sacrifices of the brave men and women in uniform. If the high level of poppy sales are any indication, Canadians are sending a clear message of appreciation to the brave men and women who serve our country so proudly. This Remembrance Day, lest we forget. Travis Pereira, Humber News.
As of January 1st, smokers in Ontario will have nowhere to light up. The province is implementing new smoking bans. Smoking on restaurant patios, sports field, and playgrounds will be no more. We took to the halls of Humber to ask what students think of the new rules.
Most university students are 18 plus. They're able to make their decision on whether or not they want to smoke. That is the point of university. It's independence.
I agree. I'm a smoker, but I feel for the people that don't smoke and shouldn't be subjected to the secondhand smoke.
It's cool not to have it in like public places, but I think there should be smoke zones where people that like to smoke can smoke. I don't think they should be prohibited to do it.
As a pregnant woman, just because there's an extra space does not mean that I am not exposed to these types of extra chemicals.
If Old MacDonald was in Toronto, he'd be at the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair. Jeff Sale was there and has the story.
The 92nd annual Royal Agricultural Fair kicked off today in Toronto, and the horses led the way. The Royal is the largest combined indoor agricultural and equestrian event in the world and runs from November 7th to 16th at the exhibition grounds. Show jumping started the festivities with the small pony fence jumping event. Jim Walker, a master breeder of horse and cattle, has been attending the Royal for 50 years and says the event is a great display of Canadian livestock.
Well, it's a great show. It promotes agriculture and Ontario livestock, Canadian livestock, really.
But Julian Tinney says things have changed over the years.
I guess just the size of the competition. Maybe there's more quality now and not as much quantity.
The size of the show is not the only thing that's changed, with a few new events making their debuts this year.
We've got some new exciting entertainment. It's the first time in Canada for the Grand National Pony Racing.
But you don't have to be a farmer to enjoy everything the Royal offers.
It's a fabulous event with, almost $900,000 in prize money over the span of the 10 days. And it's got an atmosphere like no other.
Horses aren't the only attraction. Today, spectators were enjoying pigs, cows, goats, and hundreds of other exhibits.
Behind me is the show jumping ring here at Ricoh Coliseum, but today is just the first day of the Greenhawk show jumping events. Later tonight, we can expect 10-time Olympian Ian Miller here to compete for his share of $100,000 worth of prize money. Jeff Sale, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Jordan will have your 3-day forecast.
Thanks, Marielle. It's going to be a dark and damp next few days, so bundle up and brace yourself for the chill of winter. We'll have your 3-day forecast after the break.
But first, have you ever wanted to see into the mind of a famed artist? A possible Picasso treasure is going to auction. A sketchbook that may be embossed with his family initials was discovered in an abandoned safety deposit box. But if you're more of a viewer than a buyer, there's more art to admire in a Los Angeles museum. Hollywood mogul Jerry Perenchio has given the gift of art, a collection worth over $500 million. The donation includes works by Monet and Picasso.